What's up, y'all? Sam Chlebowski here from Motion.io. I'm excited to be doing this new series we're calling Power Workflows, where basically every week what I'm going to do is break down a power user feature within Motion.io, things that are going to help you save time, save money, make your team less stressed, and at the end of the day, simplify your agency or consulting business's processes for managing projects, but also automating and streamlining client communication and collaboration in Motion.io. For this first episode, I'm going to be showing you a workflow that allows you to take the information clients enter when they complete a form, say an onboarding form, and dynamically populate it in their contract or agreement you send them. The reason why this workflow is so powerful is that it really simplifies things on the client's end, but also your team's end, because clients can fill out a form one single time and you can use that information so they don't have to re-enter it, or your team doesn't have to manually update or adjust things as projects move forward. So there's a couple of things that you're going to need before you can set up this workflow. The first thing you'll need to do, if you haven't done already, is set up some custom fields in your Motion.io account. For this example, I am going to create a couple of custom fields for the client business's address, the client's name, and then also the client's pricing information. Now that I've set up these custom fields, what you will see is that every time I create a new project, whether that is from a template or from scratch, these fields are going to be included in that project. But one thing you'll notice is that in this example project I set up, these fields are blank. So if I would paste the slug here into a place in the project, it wouldn't populate with anything. The really powerful part of this workflow is that we can set up a Motion.io form that the client will submit, and it's going to populate these custom field values in the project. To do this, I'm going to go ahead into my forms library here by clicking in the left-hand sidebar, and I'm going to click into my new client onboarding form. I'm going to start with the client's name up at the top here, click the settings wheel, and then go to Populate Custom Fields. I'll then click Enable Population and select that client business name field you saw me set up. And then I'll just follow the exact same process for those two other fields. So I'll do this for the client's business address, and then finally the pricing information. We've set up two of the three things that we need to have before we can put this into a workflow template. And the final thing that we need to do is create a Motion.io document. This is going to be an electronically signable contract, and set it up so after the client fills out this onboarding form, they don't have to enter that information again. I'm going to go ahead and click into this digital marketing contract that I set up before I recorded this video. And you'll see when I go in here, I've already mapped and included some fields for the client to complete. I'm going to first click into the client business name, click on the advanced settings drop down, and then I'm going to paste in the slug for the client business name custom field. And so by entering this slug here into the API ID, this contract will dynamically populate with the client's name. I'm then going to repeat this process with the client's business address, as well as their pricing information. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then I'm going to add both the form as well as the document I set up to a Motion.io project template. And I've already set up a template for this type of project, which is a digital marketing project. But one thing I left off is I don't have tasks here for the client onboarding form or a task for them to sign their contract. So I'm going to quickly go into the onboarding stage, create a task. I'm just going to call this complete onboarding form, attach my form, and click save. I'm then going to create another task right below it. And this task will be for them to sign their contract. And I'm just going to call this sign contract. I'll click the attach documents task option, select my digital marketing services contract. And then I'm also going to set myself to fill out the team fields. If you're unfamiliar with the way that document assignee fields work in Motion.io, because this is a template, I can only assign my internal team members And then after I create a project from this template, I'll then be able to assign the client to fill out their fields. I'll click save on this. And then the final step in our workflow here is make it so that when the client submits this onboarding form, Motion.io will automatically assign the next task in this workflow for the client to sign and complete that contract that then populates those custom fields that you saw me create and add. So I'll just create a quick automation here. Click add automation, create a trigger where if task submit client onboarding form is completed, instantly activate the task for the client to sign their contract. And I'm going to make the contract task due in 3 days after the client submits their onboarding form. Just as a note, when you're setting this up, make sure if you are using a form to populate custom fields, that task is the first, or at least happens before any of the other tasks in your project that use those custom fields. And so great, that does it for this workflow. But to kind of show you the way this works, I'm going to create a new project from the template you saw me set up. I'll go to my project's dashboard, click create project, give this a quick name, just use an example client name, select my template, and then click create. I'm going to quickly add a user to the project, select one of my existing clients here, go back into the tasks page, and I'm going to set them as the assignee for all tasks. And I will activate this first task to submit that onboarding form. And cool, that's all I have to do to initiate this workflow, because the way that I've set this up, I have automations that after this first task for the client to complete the onboarding form is completed, all of the other tasks in here will waterfall after one another and be activated automatically. So I can be almost entirely hands-off in this project until the client comments on something or needs clarification or gives me feedback on something. So that does it for this first episode of Motion.io Power Workflows. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned some new things that you can use in your own Motion.io project templates. As always, if you have questions about Motion.io or need help getting started, feel free to send us an email at hello@motion.io or click the blue widget you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner of your account to start a support chat with us. Take care, everybody, and see you next week.